amazing night of NBA basketball. Let's start with these Los Angeles Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Can somebody put an APB out on D-Lo? Where was he?
I'm wondering where he was. I couldn't believe it. They brought him over
Mm,
for
mm, mm.
playoff games, playoff intensity, because I don't know about you, but I think you could have got more out of Russell Westbrook. I'm just saying.
Ooh. Well, thank God. Well, thank goodness they had Shooter to the rescue.
Oh,
They had to sit him
yeah.
down. They had to sit D'Lo down. I mean, what you gonna do with 2 points, 1 of 9 shooting? What you gonna do with that? I can tell you right
Nothing.
now that ain't gonna do nothing against the Grizzlies. So,
Oh, yeah.
mm-mm.
Lakers ain't ready. You know what? I noticed one of my biggest takeaways from last night's game was the Lakers have been playing very easy competition over the last 10 games.
Yes, 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 yes. Especially the last game of the regular season. I mean, we hyped that game up like they was playing in the NBA Finals.
I'm telling you. I know. And then what we witnessed last night was like, oh, you mean to tell me these teams actually give effort and play defense? Oh, it won't be a cakewalk to the rim? Because I think a lot of talking heads and myself included, I was like, oh, that the Lakers gonna just storm into the paint without Rudy Gobert. They don't even have Nick Daniels. Nas Reed is out. And what do you know? I mean, Cat was giving it to him. I mean, they were in the passing lanes. Cal Anderson was going off. I mean, it was a pretty good game. I'm not going to lie. The Wolves really put up some playoff intensity, and I wasn't expecting it.
You know what? One of the things that I really hate the Wolves did not bring was uh, Anthony Edwards. I really, really wish he was on last night. I
Uh,
really wish he was on because I think that was a missing piece. Now I know that the Timberwolves at one point they were up 15 points, I think before the halftime, and then they kind of maintained about 11 points even through the second half. But for some reason, if Ant would have just turned on a little bit, I think they would have been able to win the game. I can tell you one thing though, Connolly coming through with them clutch free throw shots. If
ooh,
you
wee!
if
I
you want
know.
if you want free throw shooting, and when it's really imperative, it's at the end of the regulation when you need those points to at least tie the game. That was right there. That was butt clenching. I was like, you did it.
Yeah, he
I'm
was
telling
clenching
you.
his butt too. If you saw his face at the free throw line.
He couldn't believe he did it, but I'm glad he did. You know what though? I'm gonna say the saving grace, and I know that everybody does their part. I get what LeBron put up. I understand AD did his. He did what he. You know what he did what he did. But Schroeder coming through when he
Yes.
did when D'Lo didn't show up, I think that for me that was my biggest highlight because
Ah,
Schroeder is working toward his next big contract because he
yes.
fumbled the bag a couple of years ago. So
Mm-hmm. Yes, but one thing I noticed too is all of those foul baiting plays that Austin Reeves was doing, the refs were not falling for it last night.
oh, did he even go through the line? Did he even go to the line?
Probably
I can't.
one time. I think one
Maybe.
time. Yeah, yeah. The refs were like, okay, we know your game, young fella. You jump into the defense and then you throw your head back and throw your knee out. We're not falling for that tonight.
Maybe.
So I really like that because I think it cheapens the game when players bait fouls like that. Like just play tough, play tough.
Yeah, and he couldn't hold the ball either. I mean, he had
No.
butter fingers for sure. And you can't get the ball snatched out of your hand. No, you can't. No, that's a no. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm quite sure the Grizzlies are watching tape, and they're gonna be all over it. See, I anticipated. Now I was really. If the Wolves would have pulled it off, I would have been okay with it. But I really wanted the Lakers matchup because of the narrative that surrounds that. If
Uh-huh.
the Grizzlies can be victorious in this matchup, oh my goodness. Oh,
Uh
oh my
uh
goodness. The stock of the Grizzlies will go up. But the Timberwolves, at least they have another chance. But I just know Anthony Edwards have to show up. Cat is going to be spent
oh
if
my
he has to do it by
goodness.
himself again. It ain't gonna work.
Yes, yes. And but what's interesting though, you said D'Lo didn't show up. Well, Ant didn't either. So they kind of
No,
canceled each other out.
true. That's true. That is true. That's true.
I
Yeah.
know. I know. So what do you think about that overtime session? I mean, it looks like LeBron and AD were both spent. Coming down from 15 and making it a game, and then really thinking that they had iced the game within the shooter's corner three.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that? Because really, it I don't know. To me, the Lakers should not have won that game.
No,
It was the Timberwolves game to lose. The way they were playing all night, the Lakers had to play from behind all night. And I don't know how the Wolves, I guess my question to you is, how will the Wolves recover from giving up that game? Because it really was theirs to lose.
I'm telling you right now, they're looking at Anthony Edwards. He is the missing factor. He's it. He's the piece. Because you didn't have Rudy. McDaniels is out indefinitely. Right? And because Karl Anthony Towns had to expend so much energy because he had to cover so many roles, he was just missing that. Now, Conley came in and he could miss from three. He was hot. He had the hot hand. He had the hot hand all night, but again, it wasn't enough. What was missing, Karl Anthony Towns gave you what he was able to give you, and he got into foul trouble, which kind of, I think, sucked the wind out of the Timberwolves when he came back into the fourth quarter. Another thing I think that really happened, Anthony Edwards wasn't on anyway. He was kind of off all game. But when he flipped over AD and landed and came back into the game with that patch on his arm, I think it kind of, it really, really jacked up his momentum. And he was really not the same even after that. So he was already, borderline not really in the game. But after that incident, for him to come back into the game, it almost felt like he was sluggish, in my opinion. And so I think he was a missing factor in the Timberwolves being able to seal the deal. Now, they had it. I mean, Cat, Anderson, they pretty much, and then Prince with the hot hand, they had it. They had it.
Yes.
I think they had it. They had, even being up 11 points, even being up 7 points within the fourth quarter. But again, if you just need everybody to do a little something, and I think that's one of the missing pieces. Anthony Edwards was a missing piece for them in this game, for sure.
Yeah. Foul trouble plagued Anthony Davis, Karl Anthony Towns, even LeBron James. I think LeBron had 5 fouls in this game, which was unusual because the refs normally swallow their whistle when it comes to him. But so that played a big factor as well. So I was like, wow. But good news is the Timberwolves will have Rudy Gobert for their next game, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's still hope for the Timberwolves. I'm not going to count them out at all. What they displayed last night lets me know that they can at least compete in another play-in game. Now, what I don't know about a 7-game series, but I will give them the opportunity to seal the 8th seed with the next matchup that they're in. So, yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, did you get a chance to catch any of the Hawks and the Heat games?
Oh yeah, honorable mention. Shout out to Trae Young icing the game. I mean, what? I was surprised, but you know what? Shame on the Miami Heat for taking the regular season for granted all year long. This is what happens. You can't just turn it on when you want to. You gotta take the regular season seriously.
And we saw proof of that in the first play-in game, where they could have kept their 7th seed, and they didn't. It was really bad. It was really bad. And I can tell you this though, one of the highlights from that game was watching vintage Kyle Lowry.
Vintage.
Vintage. I said, is this 2019 Lowry?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he did not have the personnel to help him. So
I know he was out on an island all by himself. Where was Bam? Wait. Jimmy Butler promised. He promised that they would win, and the Hawks got wind of it and made sure that Jimmy was wrong on last night's game. Because Trae Young said it in post game. He said Jimmy promised to win, and I wanted to make sure that didn't happen. See,
and talking too much. You know what? Just let it reflect in the game. We don't need the lip service before. We don't need the lip service before. I can tell you another highlight, from the few bits and pieces that I did catch from that game. Capella, I'm gonna need Bam Adebayo to go in and watch Capella. That game that they were in. Go watch that tape, watch the film, and I want you to take some pointers from Capella, because honey, he owned the glass. He owned it.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Oh, Capella was putting on. What he had? 21 rebounds.
It's
Mm-mm.
something ridiculous, like 4 points. I mean, you ain't gonna get much offensive punch from Clint Capella, but he gonna give you some defense and he gonna protect that rim. So, and that's what the Hawks need because they have enough offensive power on the perimeter.
Yes. Yeah. It was nice to watch. It was almost like if Jimmy Butler talking said what he said, which you know what? Why wouldn't he say that? To give the Heat some confidence, right? And
Hmm.
then the Hawks said, "Oh, it ain't gonna happen." It ain't gonna happen. And I was like,
Oh,
well, you know what? I'm happy for the Hawks. The Hawks and Boston matchup. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah, yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know, but hey, you know what? The Miami Heat live to see another day. The Minnesota
Yeah.
Timberwolves live to see another game as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Cannot wait for Friday night.
And until next time.
See ya.